Um, I would probably have to say that my testimony I'm going to give you kind of a snapshot, maybe 3 snapshots of my life, like a scrapbook, and I'm just going to have to pick various ones to keep this short. But I would have to say that growing up with the Lord, I accepted the Lord when I was 3, and I remember loving the Lord. I was very excited. Used to turn on my little cassette tape recorder and put in my praise, tapes and be like, yay, Jesus, want to throw a party for God. And, I would put on a white dress and dance around the room to worship and just really loved the Lord a lot. And part of that, I think, was just, the promises of God where he talks about, if you obey the Lord, then he's going to bless many generations. And that was true for my parents. My dad grew up in a family that didn't really love the Lord, and God got a hold of him in college, and he was just on fire after he received the Lord and really decided to have him as Lord of his life. He was dead on target to follow him for the rest of his life. And then my mom grew up Baptist, and she loves hymns, and she was more not as charismatic as my dad, I don't think, but still just this really true love for the Lord. And that's when my life got started, with these 2 parents that were just crazy on fire for the Lord and wanting to serve him. My parents, really raised me kind of to do things that were real. I remember one time being sorry for something. She was like, good, now go to your room and make sure that you repented all the way in your heart before the Lord. And I was like, 6 years old, and she wanted me to go to my room and make sure that I talked with the Lord about this, and not just say I was sorry. And so I was like, oh wow, everything was really real. She never wanted us to, I remember wanting to pray over communion. She's like, why do you want to pray? What are you going to pray about? And each time just teaching us that it was never about the words, that it was never about doing actions, but really about what we were saying with the Lord. So even though I knew the Lord for such a long time, there's obviously growing to do, and there's things that the Lord teaches us gently, and sometimes he waits for a while because he probably knows you can't handle it. So I'm going to probably share those 2 things. One of them, I think that Satan kind of attacks people in 2 different ways. Either he attacks them about his character. Is God really a good God? And about you, probably, does God really love you that much? And I would say the area where does God really love you that much probably started early in my life, just through bad things that I had done, and just a lot of shame in my heart. Just things that I didn't feel forgiven for. I remember one night, it just all coming to a point where I was like, am I really God's? Do I really belong to him? God seems so good. I really do want to make sure that the Lord really loves me. And my sister came to me with a song that we all knew, but she had really felt like it was for me from the Lord. And it said, fear not, for I am with you, says the Lord. I've redeemed you, I've called you by name, child, you are mine. When you walk through the waters, I will be there, and through the flame. You'll not no way be burned, and you'll not no way be drowned, for I am with you. The main part of the song that I had to carry with me for a while was, child, you are mine. And I think whenever Satan goes, that was too bad for God to keep you now, that song just goes, no, you know what? I'm his child. I'm going to belong to him forever. And I should have taken a note from that song, actually, because it says, when you walk through the waters, I will be there, and through the flame. Because that kind of heads into my next thing. Going through hard times, confusing times, like you were sharing, sometimes brings either anger or sadness, and sometimes blame, I would have to say. And this is something that the Lord taught me much more later on in my life, probably just a couple years ago, actually. So Dave and I got married about 4 years ago, and we decided to move to Rockford. And everything was new. We had a new life, we had a new apartment, new town. We needed to find new jobs, we needed to find new church, we needed to find new friends, we needed to find everything that was new. And that's kind of exciting because you can start all over. We started a Sunday school class, and right off the bat we found some great friends that, were married just as long as we were, 2 months. And it was really exciting to get to know them. And we both found jobs after a little bit. But then something started happening